Welcome to the Life After Life podcast, where we explore our soul's physical and non-physical journey. I'm Majona. Let's discuss angels, guides, and loved ones from the other side. Hello and welcome back, Thomas and Majona.
Got a good one today.
Yes, we do. So what happens if your religious upbringing tells you that all of the things we talk about on this podcast are taboo? It's all of Satan, or it's all negative. How is that true? And what if you're really attracted and you want to know more about this stuff, but then you kind of have that internal battle? Well, we have some opinion on that.
Listener question, too, by the way.
It is, and thank you so much for that. I love it. Well, Thomas grew up in a far more conservatively Christian environment than I did. So since I was seeing the spirits...
That's like Noah saying, gee, it looks like it's going to rain.
I mean, my experience was I was seeing the spirits and had a minister that said, that's not possible. And I thought, well, then who's that standing next to you? But, and by the way, your aunt does not appreciate that you're saying that. Your aunt from the other side. So, Thomas, what do you think about that?
Well, obviously, I grew up in a very fundamental environment. So that, in my environment, and see a lot of people wrestle with this, is there are two ways. There's the way that it is in the Bible, and then there's hell and of the devil. So everything is either of Christ, God, Yahweh God, one God, the God in the Bible, or it's of the devil. And I grew up with that. And it's amazing how that belief system has a hold on people, number one. And it has a tremendous hold.
Because it's fear-based.
Yeah, totally.
And fear is a very powerful emotion.
So is family loyalty and legacy. So I refused to even look at it until I got to a point in my life where it just hadn't and didn't serve me anymore. And then I just couldn't. I had to wipe the slate clean, if you will, and start over with a different belief system. And that was one of the toughest things to do because my parents were wonderful parents. And they were, Dad was gone, Mom had dementia. So I couldn't converse with her in the same way anyway. So in essence, my parents were, let's say, gone. So I recreated a belief system that did not include the way that they had taught me growing up. And they were very passionate about that this was the answer to our eternal soul.
So you were uncomfortable enough in the way your life was that you had to make a change to find some comfort.
Yeah, totally. And that included the only way I could do it, and a lot of people would not do it this way, and this is not the right way. I'm not right here at all, but the desk that all of this equipment is set up on has a glass top and white underneath it. So Majona and I all the time take dry erase markers and write on the desk. And then sometimes I'll come in with a cloth and some Windex and just wipe it clean. That's what I had to do.
Clean slate.
I had to wipe it to where was nothing. And then I took the marker in my hand and decided what I was going to write back on the desk. And that's how I had to believe it. That's what I had to do. And part of that belief system was that, and this is so funny because once you start picking this apart, it just falls apart so quickly. But one of the belief systems was that any spirit not of Jesus was of the devil. So yes, for all of my early years, all of my teenage years, and then I was headed to the ministry. I was going to go be a Baptist preacher. Went to college, and my other love got a hold of me, and that was broadcasting.
It wasn't me, it was broadcasting.
I didn't meet you until I was older than Methuselah.
Excuse me.
I'm older than her. But, so Majona and I met 6 years ago, this month, actually. We met 6 years ago in 2013 in June. So, happy anniversary, dear.
Thank you, honey.
On that. So, I thought that this kind of stuff was spooky and of the devil. And anybody asking that question can totally relate to what you're saying.
That's true. And I love that saying that I've heard it in many different ways, but basically you don't make change until the universe or God makes life so uncomfortable for you that you have to make change.
You know, I think a lot of it went back to family loyalty. I mean, that was the doctrine. That was the teaching of my parents. That was a legacy, if you will. That was a gift that they gave. And my brother and I, neither of us rebelled. When we were teenagers, we were good kids. My brother and I were the kids you wanted to raise, folks. I'm telling you, we just didn't rebel. We weren't bad. We didn't drink alcohol. We didn't party. Nobody got caught doing anything bad. The worst I got in trouble as a teenager was not calling my dad on a Sunday afternoon to tell him that we were staying out on the lake with a group of friends, church friends, water skiing until about 7:30 in the evening.
And they were concerned.
And that was it. That was all they had to worry about.
There you go.
And being a lover of water and fishing and being a water sign, I had water all over me, and being comfortable on the lakes around Oklahoma was just no big deal. It was something we did. Then after making those changes, I started narrating these audiobooks for Fred Dodson. And Fred puts it in so wonderful clarity that finally, after narrating a bunch of audiobooks, I was able to get the answers and get comfortable with what I was looking for. So to condense all of that, you wouldn't want to go through listening to all the books I listened to, but I can recommend a few of them. If you email Majona at lifeafterliferadio.com, I will suggest some audiobooks if you want to do some deep dive on this. But the short of it is, there's a scale of consciousness, okay? Low on the scale in our earthly plane, let's say emotions like hate and guilt and sorrow and depression and anxiety. High on the scale, love, joy, peace, bliss, okay? That scale transcends to the non-physical realm. And not only that, but as we've talked around, and we'll have a lot more on this coming up, but there are realms outside of our earthly plane that fit into the scale of consciousness. So we go from low to high out there. And if you just apply the scale of consciousness to the non-physical, you get about 90% of your answers. So there are low energy or low entity beings, and there are high entity beings. And the whole concept of heaven and hell fits beautifully into the scale as well. That a torturous existence after we pass would be the equivalent of hell. A blissful pass would be the equivalent of heaven.
So the question being, do I have to be concerned about this when my upbringing tells me this is of Satan? Well, like Thomas just said, there's levels of energy. All right, I'm going to go a little bit of quantum mechanics on you here with the law of attraction, right? The law of vibration.
It all fits, yes.
You attract what you put out.
And that doesn't stop when you sip your last breath of air.
Right, that's just, it's a universal law. So if you are seeking only people that you love, and you're seeking high energy, and that's what you're putting out there, well, then guess what you're going to get back? But if you go looking for trouble, if you go driving through the ghetto looking for trouble, you're going to find it.
Yeah.
So what is your intention? Because you have free will to set that intention. All right, the other piece, if you're still going, okay, well, I know that I love my family that has crossed over and friends, and I know my angels and guides are love, but what if I'm just not good enough to really connect with them and fight off the lower level beings? All right, what is the greatest power
that we have in our physical plane?
Anywhere, in all planes, in the whole universe.
I'm going to go to a Bible verse. A lot of people will connect with this.
What is that?
From 1 Corinthians. And the greatest of these is love.
Where's the jackpot sound?
Ding, 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 ding.
We need a sound effect. Yeah, exactly. The greatest power is love. So if God is love, God is pure love, and God created everything else, then is not love the most abundant force in the universe? And if you are seeking your soul's journey and to connect with those of your loved ones and your angels and guides and those beings of love that just don't happen to have a physical body right now, why would it be hard to find those when that's the most abundant source out there? And love overpowers everything. So if you go to our website, lifeafterliferadio.com, there are some free downloads that I would love to share with you. You just sign up for them, and it takes you to a different page. There's a download for waterfall clearing. Anytime that you're feeling uncomfortable about this, do a waterfall clearing. That's just going to eliminate any negative energy that you're carrying around with you that you've picked up, and negative emotion. That'll help get rid of that. And then do a white light meditation or anything else to bring in pure love. So you're taking out the yucky stuff, filling up with the positive stuff, and that's some self-preparation, and that's also going to be more comforting to you so that you know you're prepared for this. There's some other things that you can do. If you are uncomfortable, some rituals really help, and religion is steeped in rituals, right? So if you take some of those rituals and transfer them to this setting, if you clear and then you call in God light through your crown chakra and let it just fill you up. You can light white candles. You can burn sage. You can clear your house. There's so many things. And basically, the bottom line is you can do all the rituals you want, and what that is doing is helping you. Because God is bigger and stronger than all of that. And God is on your side. So there's no doubt in my mind, I've been doing this since I was 3 years old. There's no doubt in my mind, if you are vibrating high and you want to bring in and connect with loving beings, you are more than fully protected. You're good. Go for it.
That's why an awareness of this is so important. And really studying this and understanding how this works and not believing in an indoctrinated system just because somebody says is critical. Once you understand that, it gives you so much freedom.
It's freedom. And this is what I love to those people asking this question is, thank you for questioning.
Yeah.
That is such, you know what, as a human, I think that is our number one gift that we have is free will to question and not follow blindly. So this, just like anything else, just go inside. And if it is of love and it feels right to you, then it's okay. If it doesn't feel right to you, let it go. Get away from it because it's not right for you at this time. Or maybe ever, depending on what it is. But you were given a really great inner guidance system. So just use it, follow it.
I think another thing that came from doing all the audiobooks is there is so much, a preponderance of material and evidence out there that refutes, or at least you cannot step over. It is so strong and so powerful that the indoctrinated system, it will break and chip that away for you bit by bit. And it's just something that you have to process in your own speed and in your own way.
Well, we hope that this was helpful, and we love your questions. If you would like more clarity or have other questions, Majona at lifeafterliferadio.com. Check out the website for some free downloads, and we have a Facebook group also. On Facebook, Life After Life Radio. It is a closed group, and we would love to have you participate. We want this to be an interactive group. So we look forward to seeing y'all on all fronts. Until next time, namaste.